I've been building my own kingdom for everyone to see. It exists to keep me safe from harm, and it's intact to glorify me. Nobody helped me build this up. It was me and me alone. I've appointed myself as the king, and I've given myself the throne. But it turns out I'm no ruler, and I have no control. So I have decided to destroy it all. I'm tearing down the walls, kicking down the doors. Everything inside this kingdom is yours. 'Cause what I've made is worthless, and it cannot stand. Come and breathe some life into my empty, cold, dead ends. Down with the fickle king, away with this fantasy. You are the one I need. Death to the kingdom of me. Death to the kingdom of me. I should probably be frightened. This empire's all I know, but it always does more damage than good. I'm afraid it's gotta go. I know that I can't be trusted, 'cause I'm just a man. And if you hadn't given your life for me, a loser would be all that I am. You know they say just follow your heart. I'm afraid that's a load of trash. Your heart will take you down to deep, dark places where you feel like you'll never come back. So I'm coming out of the dark. This facade is I woke up feeling like it was time to tighten up. Yeah, I woke up feeling like it might be a good day to get it done. That's right. Oh, the stadium is just like my second house. Now I'm two-tone talking, they can't shut my mouth. I woke up feeling like it was time.
You know something? You know something? Been a rough season. Now that it's over, especially, the entire season's over, we can look back and say it's pretty rough. Went about as bad as it could possibly go, almost, for the Tennessee Titans. And for Titans fans. But as I said here today on February the 9th, 2026, the day after the Super Bowl, I'm just going to be honest with you folks. Glad Mike Vrabel didn't win. I'm glad that the New England Patriots did not win the Super Bowl last night. You want to know why? A couple of reasons. Number one, Patriots fans don't deserve that. No fan base deserves that. We don't even deserve that if the Titans ever got good enough to win a Super Bowl. Like, you guys sat there and watched Tom Brady and Bill Belichick win all those Super Bowls all those years, and then they both left, and now you want another head coach and another quarterback to come in and just start winning again this fast? Nope. Too bad. You don't get it. You don't get that. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve to have another Super Bowl win after you had all those other ones and those guys left. No, you don't get to just go back and win another Super Bowl just like that. No, you don't deserve that. Get out of here. But also, don't care about Vrabel winning no Super Bowl. What is it with you guys? What is it with you guys out there? I'm rooting for Vrabel. I want Vrabel to win. I don't care if Mike Vrabel ever wins a Super Bowl. You want to know something? Because I don't got nothing against Vrabel. Vrabel's a good coach. He may even be a great coach. But you want to know something? I've had it. I made my apology video. I was wrong. The Titans shouldn't have fired him. To do what they did after they fired him especially was stupid. But you know what? I ain't going to sit here and be no Vrabel fanboy. Chasing after him and saying, like when your ex dumps you, do you root for him? You say, oh, you know what? I hope, obviously, honestly, that is a mature thing to do. But just in the immediate aftermath, though, you don't sit there and go like, oh, I hope you go date somebody better looking than me. I hope they a better kisser than me. I hope they better looking than me. I hope they got a better job than me. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. And I had to sit here all year and hear, well, Mike Vrabel, who the Titans fired 2 years ago, he's winning all these games. Mike Vrabel, who the Titans fired 2 years ago, just won his division. Mike Vrabel, who the Titans fired 2 years ago, won a playoff game. Mike Vrabel, who the Titans fired 2 years ago, just won the AFC. Mike Vrabel, who the Titans fired 2 years ago, just won Coach of the Year. Well, let me tell you something. Mike Vrabel, who the Titans fired 2 years ago, got crushed in the Super Bowl last night for the same reasons he used to get crushed here. Because his offensive line is booty, because he couldn't make adjustments, and because his offense melted down in the biggest game of the year. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Last night, I sat there and I watched them lose the way they lost, and I said, it's almost nostalgic because I've seen that before. Yes, Vrabel's offense is completely melting down in the biggest spot. Vrabel's teams losing a game that felt like it was there for him for much of the time. Vrabel's team losing a game, making it look like they shouldn't have ever been there in the first place. Yup, seen that one before. There he is. There's the guy. And you know what, something, Patriots fan? Here's the beautiful thing about it. It's all downhill from here. It's all downhill from here because when he came here, we went to the AFC Championship game. He won Coach of the Year. We were all excited, and it was all downhill from there. Just worth noting, they ain't going to have the easiest schedule in the NFL next year. Listen, I ain't got nothing against Vrabel. I don't. But it's the media I'm mad at because they made me sit here all year and listen to Mike Vrabel, who the Titans fired 2 years ago. Ooh, he's the greatest thing ever. Well, you know what? He got embarrassed last night. So why don't you go report on that? All these local media people in Nashville that couldn't wait for the Patriots to win the Super Bowl so they could put out all of their articles about, oh, it's just so tough to be a Titans fan. Must really suck for Titans fans to have to watch Vrabel win the Super Bowl. Well, go ahead and take your articles that you had typed up and delete them. Go ahead and throw them in the garbage because you don't need them because they didn't win. They lost convincingly. And I will go as a step further to say the Patriots may be one of the worst teams to make the Super Bowl in the last 30 years. They may be one of the worst teams to make the Super Bowl in the last 30 years. You going to tell me that team belonged there last night? Some of y'all still want to act like Drake May should have won the MVP over Matt Stafford. You watch him last night? Now, let me say this. I want to give credit to the Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are the unquestioned champions of the NFL. Like, sometimes you see a team win the Super Bowl and you're like, I don't know if they were the best or if they just won. Like, if the Patriots would have won the Super Bowl last night, it would have been like, well, I mean, they kind of had an easy road to get there. Like, nobody would really buy that the Patriots were actually the best. The Seahawks, I believe, were the best. They were the best team in football this year. I mean, their defense was just unbelievable. I watched them on a Sunday night football game this year. At some point, they played Houston, I believe it was. It was either a Sunday night football game or a Monday night football game I watched. And I was like, dude, that defense is going to have them going far. That defense is going to have them going far, and it sure did. Seattle, I mean, every time they had a big game, they won by a lot. And so they dominated. The Seahawks were dominant. That defense was just absolutely elite. And they deserve to be the champions of the world. The Seattle Seahawks deserved to win the Super Bowl, and they did. I mean, they had to go through the Rams. They had to go through the 49ers. They had to go through the heavyweights of the NFC to get to the Super Bowl. I mean, it was just that they earned it. So the Seahawks, the right team, won the trophy. And so as a Titans fan, and I know I've said my stuff about Vrabel, and I am legitimately, like, I'm glad the Patriots didn't win because I just couldn't deal with it. I could not deal with an entire offseason of the Titans fired Vrabel and then he won the Super Bowl and the Titans. I couldn't deal with it for an entire offseason. So I'm glad the Patriots lost. Glad that I don't have to put up with that. It's less of a problem with Vrabel, more of a problem with the media. With that being said, as a Titans fan, I sat there and I watched this game last night, and it just further drove home a point that I already knew, but now, we saw it on full display last night. Like, 5 years ago, the belief among most NFL fans and analysts and things like that was that if you're going to have a prayer of winning the Super Bowl or even getting to the Super Bowl, you've got to have one of those top 5 guys. You've got to have Mahomes. You've got to have Allen. You've got to have Lamar. You've got to have Burrow. You've got to have one of those elite quarterbacks to even have a prayer of getting to the Super Bowl. And that's just not the case anymore. Not just, you don't just have to watch this Super Bowl. Watch the entire season. Watch the playoffs. I mean, it is one of those things where, like, we have gone back in time to where defense wins championships again. Defense wins championships. No knock on Sam Darnold at all. Sam Darnold is a great story, and he played well, and good for him. What an amazing thing to see Sam Darnold winning the Super Bowl. No knock on Kenneth Walker, who was the MVP of the game. Like, tremendous. No knock on Clint Kubiak, the next coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. All credit. But, like, do you think the Seahawks win the Super Bowl if they don't have that defense? No, they don't. It's just like back in the day, 12 years ago or whatever, when they won their last Super Bowl, when they had the Legion of Boom. Like, that defense was the difference. Why did Houston get as far in the playoffs as they did with C.J. Stroud playing like booty? Because their defense was that good. The Rams' defense was awesome, and they had Stafford. So, like, having a great quarterback's awesome. But defense wins championships again. We sit here all these years and we hear about, you gotta have one of these top quarterbacks. You gotta have one of these top 5 quarterbacks. You gotta have one of the elite quarterbacks. It's just not true. Look at the last 2 quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold. No disrespect to those guys. No knock on those guys. But they ain't Mahomes. They ain't Josh Allen. Speaking of the elite quarterbacks, Josh Allen's yet to even make a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson has yet to even make a Super Bowl. So this narrative that we've got to have an elite quarterback, we've got to have a top 5 quarterback if we're going to get there, that's just not true anymore. It's not true. And it's proven every year. Do you think, I know Drake May looked good for a lot of the season, but did that look like a top 5 quarterback last night? No. And he was in the Super Bowl. A few years ago, Brock Purdy was in the Super Bowl. So, like, the reason I say all of that is because, first of all, knowing how important it is to have a great defense, Knowing how important it is to have the best defense you possibly can kind of makes you glad that the Titans hired Robert Saleh, one of the top defensive minds in the league. I'm telling you. Like, I don't know. We thought a couple of years ago, you need the offensive guru. You need the Sean McVay, the Kyle Shanahan. Maybe you need the Mike McDonald, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, former DC for the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe you need him. Or he wasn't even a DC for the Baltimore Ravens. What was he for the Ravens? Was he DC? Yes, he was. He was the DC for the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe you need that guy. Maybe you need the defensive guy to come in and set a culture. Bring in a culture and bring in a good offensive staff and make his defense as good as possible. Because Mike McDonald last night was the first coach to win a Super Bowl who was also a defensive play caller. So a defensive play caller as a head coach winning a Super Bowl is officially in now. And Robert Saleh, rather famously, when he became the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, said, I'm going to be calling the defensive plays. I didn't do that when I was the head coach with the Jets, but I'm going to do it here. That's kind of the recipe now, isn't it? So Robert Saleh, knowing how important it is to have a great defense, and we saw it firsthand last night, and we saw it firsthand in the Super Bowl last year, makes you glad about Robert Saleh. And it really brings to light how big of a mistake Brian Callahan really was for the Tennessee Titans. But also, talk about Cam Ward. We talk about Cam Ward, and there's this pressure. He's the number 1 overall pick. There's this pressure to say, well, he's got to be the next Mahomes. He's got to be the next Josh Allen. He's got to be the next Joe Burrow, Joe Montana. He's got to be the next Brady. He's got to be the next Peyton Manning. He's got to be. And listen, if he turns out to be those guys, great. That'd be wonderful. But when you put it in context and you see these guys that are winning Super Bowls, like, I don't know. What if Cam Ward just needs to be the next Sam Darnold? That sounds a lot more doable, right? Like, we're stuck in this mindset of, oh, if he's not a top 5 quarterback, then it's a fail. But like, what if Cam Ward, what if all he has to do, if Robert Saleh is able to bolster up this defense with Jeffrey Simmons, and then maybe you draft Reuben Bain, and then you go bring in another edge guy, and you bolster up this defensive line, and then you figure out this secondary, and then you come up with that great Robert Saleh scheme. If Robert Saleh is able to do that, then what if Cam Ward just has to do what Jalen Hurts did with the Eagles last year, or what Sam Darnold did with the Seahawks this year? Like, does that not seem a little more feasible? I mean, we're sitting here thinking if he's not the next Mahomes, it's a failure. But we see it all the time. You don't have to be the next Mahomes. You don't have to be the next any of that. And I hear you. You say, well, he's in the AFC though. He's in the AFC where all of those elite quarterbacks are. Those elite quarterbacks who can't even make it to the Super Bowl. Like, you want to tell me, like, the Broncos got to the AFC Championship game, and the Broncos probably would have made the Super Bowl if Bo Nix didn't get hurt. Is Bo Nix better than Josh Allen? No. I don't think any. Bo Nix is good, but Bo Nix ran right through the AFC up until he got hurt, and he wouldn't be classified as good as Lamar or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, yet him and Drake May were the 2 guys in the AFC Championship game. So I just think that it's time to step back and regroup if you're a Titans fan or a fan of anybody. I mean, because this makes it better for everybody. You open up and say, okay, if Sam Darnold can win a Super Bowl with the Seahawks, if Jalen Hurts can win a Super Bowl with the Eagles, then you know what? It really is open for anybody. Not that those guys are bad, but like, those guys aren't top 5 quarterbacks. Those guys may not even be top 10. And yet, they're the ones hoisting up the trophy. So if you're a Titans fan, for example, and you're worried about Cam Ward not being the next Mahomes, not being the next Lamar, what if he doesn't have to be? We've seen the template. As long as you can play mistake-free, take care of the football, make the smart throws, you can go pretty dang far. Do I think Cam Ward could be the next Patrick Mahomes? Man, I don't know if anybody can be the next Patrick Mahomes. But could he do what Sam Darnold did this year at the bare minimum? Just take care of the football, not do anything stupid, make the smart throws, help your team win, let your defense do the heavy lifting, and then you just kind of fill in around it? Like, yeah, I could see, he could do that. Absolutely. And so that's what I walked away from last night's game with. Defense wins championships, and we got one of the top defensive minds in the league as the head coach of the Tennessee Titans. Great quarterback play is a great thing to have, but you can win the whole dang thing with just good quarterback play. Just good. The Houston Texans could have gone further if C.J. Stroud could have just been adequate. If C.J. Stroud could have just been all right, the Texans could have gone all the way. If C.J. Stroud could have just been Sam Darnold, if he could have just done what Jalen Hurts did with the Eagles last year, the Texans could have been hoisting the trophy up. But he couldn't even do that. More reason to believe the Tennessee Titans are headed in the right direction. Because I don't remember anybody hailing Mike McDonald as the next great head coach that's going to win a Super Bowl. But look at him, man. Look at him. And think about the division he won. Think about the other coaches. He beat Shanahan. He beat McVay. And then he beat the almighty Vrabel in the Super Bowl. He's a pretty darn good coach. And 2 years ago, we were so blinded by, we need the offensive guru. And I'm right there with you. I'm making fun of myself here. We need the offensive guru. We need the next McVay. We need the next Shanahan. Man, sometimes you just need the dude who can come in and take charge of a locker room. Sometimes you just need the dude who can come in and set a culture and get a game plan together and get the right people in place. And listen, Robert Saleh made his mistakes in New York, but I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, better times are coming. Super Chat user said Mike Vrabel called plays in 2020 and had an atrocious defense, but media doesn't want to hear that. Yeah, the defense was awful in 2020, and he also stole the play calling duties from Dean Pease in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. Still not over that one. So you know what? I'm glad Vrabel didn't win. I'm glad I don't have to put up with it. I'm glad I don't have to put up with the media coverage. I'm glad the Titans get to avoid being the butt of the joke one time. And I'm glad that defense wins championships again because we got the defensive guy as the new head coach of the Tennessee Titans. The offseason is officially begun. It began for the Titans about a month and a half ago. But the season is officially over. The Seattle Seahawks have won the whole dang thing. And now, you know the beauty of it, folks? It all begins again. It all starts over again. Because March 11th, free agency opens up. Free agency. And the Titans got over $100 million to spend. And then, before you know it, we're only a couple months away from the draft, folks. Ho-ho! You need to be tuned into Two-Tone Talk this offseason is what you need to do because we're going to be talking free agency, draft, all the things going on in a very eventful offseason for the Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh, new head coach, and defense wins championships. And guess what? Defense is going to be a strong suit of the Tennessee Titans. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. I hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. God bless you. We'll be back soon. Have a good rest of your day and rest of your week knowing that Mike Vrabel did not win the Super Bowl.